Welcome, marketing chefs. I've got something truly special cooking in our Omni-Channel oven today. Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live, Episode 4. Up next in the Marketing Kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen, the Marketing Kitchen. Hi, I'm Ron Vining, your host of Marketing Kitchen TV. Thanks for tuning in to episode 4 of our Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. Just remember, if you'd like to ask a question to have me answer it, please go to our Twitter feed at MarketingKitchenTV right here and put in the hashtag Q&A, and I will answer your questions right here in this space on YouTube. So again, the addresses are right here in this corner and Q&A is here. And what do you guys think of this border? I thought that this would be a simple solution, and either I'm technically unsound or it's just iMovie and I don't get along with each other. But that's okay, because I've been recruiting and I'm going to be hiring a full-time video producer and probably for April, as I decide to ramp up and move forward with not only this Marketing Kitchen TV YouTube channel, my Ron Vining YouTube channel, my AppFlix YouTube channel, and my Legacy Vining Management YouTube channel, which has the different bands that I used to work for, because I love music and I love entertainment, and sort of pairing that with AppFlix, thinking about launching a digital label at some point in time, utilizing AppFlix as a platform to promote those bands, blah, blah, blah. All right, anyway, thank you for coming back. Thanks for listening to my advertisement and my own self-promotion. But if I don't do it, and if I don't have budget to do it, since my business was decimated thanks to COVID-19, then yeah, let's just move forward and I'll answer your questions. And our first question today is from Danielle. And Danielle asks, wow, that sounded professional, didn't it? Okay, maybe not. Danielle asks, Amazon are experts at having their advertisements everywhere. Read more to find out how and why they will continue to succeed. And then I'm thinking to myself, Danielle, where's your question? But I see it right here. Will other businesses win over Amazon ads? Well, let's see. I guess I have a couple of questions for you, Danielle. If any of you noticed, I didn't click on the timer. I clicked on the QuickTime player, and I ended the video. So, all right, I'm picking up right now, and Danielle, I'm going to answer your question right here, starting now. All right, so will other businesses win over Amazon ads? Well, my question to you is, when you say Amazon ads, which ones are you referring to? Amazon themselves doing promoted posts or sponsored posts? Are you referring to when shopping on Amazon, seeing Amazon's own ads there by their recommendations? Or are you referring to programmatic buys? Or, final category, I guess, is, are you seeing affiliate marketing? So for example, when an airplane going overhead, good chance to have some water. So for example, for AppFlix, which is right here, I registered an affiliate marketing agreement with Amazon. And one of the things that I or any of you can do on your own blogs or websites is you can get an affiliate account with Amazon, and you can either have them choose what's advertised based on the content on your page, or based upon the content that you want that's there. So for example, I wrote an article about The Mandalorian, so I put an affiliate sponsored ad about buying merchandise around the child, which is the Yoda baby figure that's there. And so what I wanted to do was have there be companion advertising to match the content. And why would I do something like that? Because this website isn't going to make me any money at the moment. So if somebody were to read the article, they obviously searched for and read about the article because they might have liked the Mandalorian and the child who's the Yoda baby. So by clicking on the ad, they might go to Amazon, they might buy something, and then I might make a penny off of it. And so when you talk about Amazon ads, are you referring to that, Danielle? And if that's the case, then it's going to be very difficult to beat Amazon at that particular game, because they have one of the largest marketplaces and they are one of the best affiliate marketers in the space at this particular time, whether pitching just about anything, whether it's products on the Amazon store, Amazon Prime Video, Amazon Music, Twitch, you name it. And so anytime somebody's going to be paying you money, then there's a chance that, that somebody would want to do a relationship with them over somebody else. And so, for example, for AppFlix, whenever that site does get launched, one of the things I want to do is have affiliate relationships with every single streaming provider for music, movies, and games. Why? Because that's what the content of AppFlix is about. So it would be sensible to create a feature there for people to be able to subscribe to those services that they're reading about, and then for me to make a penny off of each time something is purchased there, hopefully more than a penny. So as long as Amazon's doing that, it's going to be difficult to beat that particular game. And let's see, next question, and old guy here, so leaning into the screen as if my monitor isn't large enough right here. Let's see, anyway, I forgot now. There's a video on there. It's either 32 or 34 inch widescreen. I forgot. Anyway, Samsung monitor. I'm going to do a video very soon about customer service as well. And so before I answer this question, I'll let you in on a little secret. And I had an incident with Apple about my MacBook, and I had an incident with Samsung about this monitor. And interestingly enough, which brand do you think was the most responsive? One brand completely failed me initially. Another brand completely exceeded my expectations without me even having to jump through any real hoops about it. And you'll be quite surprised with the answer. And I'll be doing a video about that in the coming weeks, just to talk about customer experience and customer service, just a textbook example of what to do versus a textbook example of what not to do. And okay, all right, Miss Tan asked the question, if your company lacked funding to develop a great SEO strategy, what else can you do to drive traffic towards your business? Well, you have come to the right place, since that's what I specialize in. Let me answer that question for you and have me not turn the video off again. I'm going to have to move where my timer is at here so that I don't make that mistake again. I don't know how I managed to do 3 videos and not do it, but I get to the 4th one and I do. And planes going overhead, time for another drink. And how do you guys know, by the way, that there's not Tito's vodka in here, right? I might be trying to self-medicate to not catch corona. So this could either be water or this could be Tito's. You never know. It's water. I don't think I would want to drink. I drink some scotch straight up, but not vodka. Okay. Oh, let me reset that. That plane cut into your question. Okay, how do you drive traffic to your business if you don't have money for SEO? Yeah, so, well, first of all, what I would do is I would just Google some basic SEO tips, because there's some things that you could do to your site or to your blog or on your social for SEO, SEM that you don't need an expert to do and won't cost you any money. So that'd be tip number 1. Tip number 2, how do you drive traffic? Well, you can use one channel to drive traffic to another channel, and you can utilize, and without even no content. So let's say that you, I don't know what, so it's difficult to, hypothetically, I've got to like think of a company or think of an example that's there, and I don't want to keep giving you examples of all of my own, right? So what you would want to do for yourself is, let's say that you want to promote your LinkedIn posts. And so you post something on LinkedIn and you want more people to know that it's there. Well, one of the things that you could do is you could take your LinkedIn post and then you could go on LinkedIn groups that are relevant to that, and you could say, you know, I wrote an article, or here's a source that I wanted to share with you, and click here to see it on my wall. And that would get people to visit your wall post. Or you could take your post and then you could share it on other channels. So you could share that on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, you name it, and you could drive traffic from those other social channels to that channel. And one of these, I have a slide deck when I used to do a lot of corporate training about how to use social media engagement to drive traffic for your business. And just think about sort of a growth chart. What you do is your website would be right up here at the top, and all of your other social channels would be up on the way. And on there, and on that, I had listed I have images of all of the different social channels that are there, and how to start off on one and have it build all the way up to driving traffic to your site. And when I say driving traffic to your site, it could be to the full website, it could be to another social network, it could be to your app, wherever it is that you want your audience, all your traffic to eventually end up and go to. And that's just one of the ways to do that, utilizing different social channels to get you the results or the traffic metrics that you need. But you certainly want to use compelling content to do that. And what is content? Anything. It is a blog post, it is sharing of a source. And take a look at my LinkedIn wall. So you just click on www.ronvining.com right up there. It'll bring you right to my LinkedIn profile. 12 times a day, I'm posting value-added content. And I'm posting 3 different types of content. I have a long post where I actually write I give my own thoughts about an article that I've read. I have one type of sort of a medium post where I give just a little bit of content in that particular source. And then I have a short form where I'm really just repackaging that source and sharing it with my network. So those are 3 types. The shortest one is easy, the middle one takes a little bit more time, and then the third one, obviously, it takes anywhere from 15 minutes to a half hour to create something like that. And then those are posted around the clock, 12 hours a day. And I usually, or I have anyway, taken those posts and I've shared them across all of my other social channels. Now, if I were really smart about digital, I would also have a ronvining.com website. Or I would have a website for Lonami and Brand Influx and you name it, iPlaneria and Automated Influx. And so yeah, I've actually designed all of those, but I haven't launched them. Why? Okay, that's another story. Too busy. One of the things that, also can blame that on my programmer quitting. One of the things that you want to do is you want to create all of that compelling content and you want to drive it to someplace. So currently I've been driving all of that traffic to my LinkedIn profile. I used to drive all of that to my business websites back in the day, which were ronvining.com and viningmanagement.com. But then I found that everyone was just reaching out to me on LinkedIn anyway, and since I shifted to B2B, I thought that was the appropriate channel to do that on. But anyway, those are some of the ways that you can drive traffic. And what content? So you create blog posts, you can just do some type of a content share, you can use a video, you can use images like memes. You could certainly write full-on articles. You could have tools that you could share, apps, etc. So anything that your audience could engage with that would create value or interest is a content. Top 10 lists. So for example, one of the things that are probably super popular right now, and I haven't had the time to do it, but I've thought about doing top 10 things that you can do around e-learning while you're at home during this particular time. Top 10 shows that you can watch on streaming platforms, etc. So lists like that are great pieces of content that will get or drive traffic, which only cost you time. You know, I was messaging with somebody recently that said that their marketing budget had been completely slashed because of the virus, and so she said to me that she's afraid she's going to lose her job because she can't do any marketing. And I said, what do you need budget for to do marketing? And she said, there's no way that you can market without money. And I just am completely baffled by that, because then I said to her, and I wasn't trying to be mean, I said, then you lack all creativity, because as a marketer, there are so many ways that expending just time as the resource that you can market your product or service. So just get creative. And if you want tips or tricks, then ask me a specific question here on this Twitter feed, or better yet, I love conversation on YouTube. Ask me a question right here in the comments section below. All right, thank you for that question. Camilio, right? Is that how I pronounce it? And actually, so is this Mikase? How do you? I'd love for each of you to phonetically somehow help me. You can even write it in the comments section, or send me an audio clip on Twitter, so that I'll know how to pronounce your names for future videos, because I think it's very important to have that engagement with your audience. All right, as Camilo asked the question, will society one day choose to have a bot fix their issues, or will they choose humans to fix their problems? Let me look into the future. Let me consult BB-8. So BB-8, do you think that, you guys are really going to think I'm hitting the vodka now, right? Okay, anyway, do I think that we'd prefer to have a bot do it, or do I think that we would like to have humans do it? And by the way, see my coworkers while I'm stuck at home? So I've got 2 of the app-controlled Sphero droids for the dark side, and I have better known buddies from the Rebel Alliance and the Resistance standing guard at each side of my monitor here. I don't know if any of you have seen these app-controlled droids from Sphero, but you can actually tie them all in together with your phone, and they're supposedly supposed to be autonomous and interact with you and interact with themselves and their environment. But the ball droids end up like going so fast and smashing into something their heads fall off. But the astromech droids, R2-D2 and R5 over there, are pretty cool. All right, you asked about bots, so I'm showing you my robots, or my droids that I'm staring at as I'm answering your questions here. All right. Let me answer this. Told you, I'm getting cabin fever. Let's see. I personally, and one of the things that I fear that this virus is going to do, or maybe it'll have the opposite effect, but I'm afraid that retail was already suffering, and I'm afraid that e-commerce is going to explode because of people being locked into their homes, and I don't want to see that. We already spend too much time on all of our devices, whether they're a laptop, whether they're a phone, whether they're a tablet, whether it's your watch, or whether it's even my electronic droids that I've got to use my phone to do. Streaming TV. So I finally did it, by the way. So AppFlix is ringing true in my real life. I cut the cable. I no longer have cable TV. I'm only using streaming apps. But you know what? That's spending more and more time of having to, rather than just turn on the TV and watch something, I've got to decide, is it going to be, so I've got 2 different streaming devices that I use. I use an Apple TV, and then I use a NVIDIA Shield, right? So one of them is iOS, the other is Android. And different channels work, and because I'm here in Singapore, yes, I have a VPN, and I utilize that VPN to watch global content on those, well, on the Android box. It won't work on iOS. And The problem here that I have is that I've got to pre-program it. I have to think ahead. What do I want to watch? So which app will I open? Well, which device will I turn on? Which app will I open to watch which particular program? And of course, will the internet connection be stable enough at that particular time? Or will the VPN work at that particular time? So I get to bot because the VPN that I use, I can't actually speak to a human. I usually am speaking to a bot when I'm asking a question about how do I trick Amazon Prime for me to be able to watch a particular show, because they are fighting against that. And so isn't Disney Plus. And again, this completely, I understand the reason why there's these IP restrictions, geo-blocking that's there due to licensing agreements and contracts, but if I'm paying for the service, it really shouldn't matter where I'm at. I should be able to access it. But the VPN that I use, their bot is usually pretty good, but they don't ask or answer specific questions all the time, which then leads me to then having to go through all of those steps through the bot to then maybe get to a human, or then email a human and then have to wait for the response. The brands that I love best are the ones that have a bot that really just asks you 2 or 3 initial questions that then drive you right to getting to someone live that can answer you. So for me, the very best way to do customer service in 2020 is via a live chat with the brand, utilizing AI bots to first filter so that you get the right person that's there. I like Twitter typically for brands, being able to reach out to them, send them, first I usually send out a tweet saying what my problem is there. If the brand is really good, they don't just see that I sent out a tweet with a question, they read the question, they look at the image that I've attached there, and then they respond to that, and that's tops. But what I hate are brands where, whether it's chatbot, whether it's direct message, whether it's email, where nobody actually even really reads what you wrote or sent them, they just keep asking you questions. There's a lot of military aircraft that are flying overhead. And no, we're not at war. There's actually, it's a military base where all of these planes are going to. Hopefully they're ensuring the supply chain so that we have plenty of toilet paper and rice. The 2 things that are sustainable for human existence. Okay, I think that I answered the question that's there, that you posted there. I think that's a good one. I think we are getting used to talking to chatbots, but I'd rather speak to a human through live chat. And the best is, I guess, an AI chatbot that we think is a human. All right, let me see if we have time for 2 more questions here before we end episode 4, and then I'm actually going to run out and grab some dinner, and then assuming that it's not locked down and I can actually move about freely. Let's see. Is budgeting the most essential element of business planning? Okay, I'll answer that one now, and that'll be the last question that I'll answer. And it's Janie, right? Is that how I pronounce it? Is it Janie? So I'll answer this top question first, and then for episode 5, I'll answer your second question that you have. All right, so is budgeting the most essential element of business planning? Ready, 2 minutes, here we go now. Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So let me use Disney as an example. So we'd use Disney theme parks. And the Imagineers are the people who develop the lands and the attractions and the shows that take place in a Disney park. They basically create the experience, both the physical experience for you. And one of the things that they do is they call it, they have what's called the Blue Sky Cellar. And the Blue Sky Cellar is actually filled with all of the ideas or the repository of great things that these Imagineers have come up with. And in every company, you've got the people who have imagination and are innovative, and they come up with these fantastic creative solutions. Or in this case for Disney, it's a theme park, it's a land, it's a restaurant, it's an attraction, it's a store, whatever it might be. And they create the entire narrative, the story, the experience. Well, what happens is this wonderful, and they put that into, the goal is to go from idea on sketchbook to reality. And typically at Disney, it'll first sort of be sketched or drawn out, whether that's paper and pencil, whether that's done in AutoCAD or some type of software to visualize that or render that almost in sort of real-time 3D. And then they also build physical models so that they can see what this new land or attraction will be like integrated within what's currently existing that's there. And oftentimes they've got these amazing, wonderful ideas. I have a book about Disneyland Paris which shows all of the Imagineers' ideas that they had for the Disneyland Paris theme park. Well, what happened though is that ideas then meet the budget. So basically it's fantasy meets reality, and right? So Disney and Magic and Fantasyland, the Imagineers are creating the fantasy. However, when it gets to the fiscal bean counters, it hits reality time. And the bean counters will sit there, and so no offense to any of you who are in finance, but you are the killer of ideas. And they say, well, sorry, we're not going to spend all of that money on this because we also want to spend money on this and this and this. So what those Imagineers need to do is they need to go back to the drawing board, and they need to, out of their amazing idea, see what elements they can take out of it to make it still be special. And sometimes, however, finance will cut so much of the budget that it's not even worth building the project, so it's better to shelve the entire idea than to have a poorly downscaled version of it roll out. So let's take Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now, Bob Chapek, who is the head of the Consumer Parks and Experience division of Disney, he is now the CEO of Disney. But under Chapek's administration overseeing parks and resorts, he severely cut the budget of Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Land at both Anaheim and in Orlando. And he fundamentally took out one attraction that really added, actually two attractions that took the kinetic energy out of the experience of Star Wars Land. Then Bob Iger, who was at the time the CEO and president of Disney, who is now remains the head of the board, so that Chapek can learn under him. But Iger, he fundamentally changed their plans because the Imagineers had wanted to have the Star Wars Land be based on all of the Star Wars IP, whereas Bob Iger wanted it to be set in the current Disney-only Star Wars universe. So that would be Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. But those movies are easily forgotten. And so too is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as a result of that. So by budget cutting and by trying to create the ecosystem of the new Star Wars trilogy in the Galaxy's Edge land, and then also opening the lands without having both attractions, there are only 2 attractions in there currently, running at the same time for almost 6 or 9 months from opening to when they was finally ready to go, led to a major disappointment to a number of fans. All right, anyway, I ran overboard on that. I love Disney. Anyway, I hope that example helps you out. Budgeting, unfortunately, kills creativity many times. So it's important for both finance and the creative side, whether that's marketing, advertising, communications, technology, to work together to, within budget, create the best proposition possible. All right, thank you very much for tuning in to episode 4 of Marketing Kitchen TV Q&A Live. I look forward to seeing you again in episode 5. All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate your questions, and thank you so much for your time. Keep safe out there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, there's always fresh content simmering on our storytelling stovetop. So whatever happens in this kitchen shouldn't stay in this marketing kitchen. I'm Ron Vining, your host, reminding you to invite your family and friends to the next episode of Marketing Kitchen TV.